You wake before the light does, not because you decide to, but because your body no longer knows how to sleep past this hour. Your eyes open slowly in the dark, lids heavy, lashes stiff with cold. The room presses in around you, small and close, the air thin and sharp as you draw it into your chest. You remain still for a moment. There is no true silence, only the quiet that comes before the town stirs. The building creaks softly as it settles, wood adjusting to the night air. Somewhere nearby, something small moves, then stops. You hear the faint sound of wind slipping through narrow gaps between walls, carrying with it the smell of damp earth and old smoke. Your hands rest beneath the blanket. When you move your fingers, the joints resist at first, stiff and aching. The cold has worked its way into them while you slept. You flex them gently, once, then again, slow enough not to wake the deeper ache that waits beneath. When you finally sit up, the blanket falls away. The cold takes its place immediately, wrapping around your shoulders and spine, settling against your ribs. You breathe out slowly through your nose, letting the shock pass without rushing. Moving too quickly only makes the cold sharper. You have learned that over time. Your feet touch the floor. Even through the thin soles of your shoes, the chill is unmistakable. You stand there for a moment, weight evenly balanced, letting your body adjust. The room smells of straw, damp wood, and yesterday's ash. These smells are familiar. They mean you are where you should be. Your clothes wait where you left them. You pull them on piece by piece, hands working without thought. The fabric is rough, worn soft in some places, stiff in others. It scratches lightly at your skin, but you barely notice. You have worn these clothes through countless mornings like this one. When you step outside, the world is still dark. The sky hangs low, heavy with grey, as if pressing down on the town. Smoke lingers between buildings from fires that never fully die, drifting slowly, caught in the still air. The ground beneath your feet is uneven and damp with frost. You walk carefully, placing each step with quiet attention. A wrong step now could mean a twisted ankle. A twisted ankle could mean days without work. You do not let your thoughts linger there. You move toward the well. The bucket waits in its place, wood worn smooth where hands like yours have gripped it again and again. You take hold of the rope and lower it slowly, feeling the vibration travel up through your palms as it descends. The sound of it echoes faintly, hollow and distant. When the bucket reaches the water, there is a soft, dull sound. You pull it up carefully. The weight is steady, familiar, drawing tension into your arms and shoulders. You adjust your grip as the water shifts inside, keeping the bucket balanced as you lift it clear of the well. As you walk back, the water sloshes gently. Cold droplets spill over the edge and splash against your shoes, soaking through almost immediately. Your toes begin to ache as the cold seeps in. You do not stop. Stopping would only give the cold time to settle deeper. Inside the bakery, the darkness feels thicker. The oven stands silent, its mouth black and empty, ash spread across the floor in a thin grey layer. You set the bucket down and pause for a moment, listening to the quiet of the room. This space will soon be filled with heat and movement, but for now it belongs to the night. You begin the fire. You stack the wood carefully, leaving space for air to move, arranging each piece the way you have learned works best. When you strike the spark, it catches slowly, reluctantly, then grows. A small flame appears, then another, until the fire begins to take hold. The light flickers across the walls. The warmth does not come right away. It takes time. You turn from the oven and move to the table, where the flour waits. When you pour it out, it falls softly, pale and fine, dusting the surface, settling into the cracks of the wood, clinging to your sleeves. You add water by feel. Your hands sink into the mixture, cold and damp. The dough resists at first, stiff beneath your palms. You lean into it, body rocking gently as you begin to knead. Press, fold, turn. Your movements are slow and steady, practiced through repetition rather than thought. Your breathing follows the rhythm. Your hands ache as you work, knuckles swollen, skin split in places from old cuts that never quite heal. Each movement sends a dull pain up your arms, but the pain is familiar. It belongs to the work, and the work belongs to you. Behind you, the oven begins to warm. Heat brushes lightly against your back when you pass, even as the rest of the room remains cold. Smoke curls upward, catching in your throat, making your eyes sting. You blink slowly, letting the sensation pass without wiping your face. You continue kneading. The dough slowly changes beneath your hands, becoming smoother, more willing. Your body settles into the motion. Time stretches unmeasured, marked only by breath and movement. This is how the day begins. You remain at the table, hands moving slowly through the dough, aware of how the texture changes beneath your palms as time passes. At first it resists you, stiff and uncooperative, but with each careful press and fold, it begins to soften, becoming smoother, warmer, more alive. You feel this change more than you see it. Your hands know when the dough is ready long before your mind would. The room is still mostly dark. Only the fire provides light now, its glow uneven and quiet, casting long shadows that move gently across the walls. The air smells of damp flour and smoke, heavy and familiar. With each breath, warmth and cold mix in your chest. One side of your body warms as you pass near the oven, while the other remains chilled, reminding you of the hour. You continue kneading, press, fold, turn. The movement is slow, deliberate and steady. Your shoulders rise and fall gently with each breath. The ache in your hands deepens, settling into your wrists and forearms. It is not sharp pain, but a dull heaviness that grows with repetition. You adjust your stance slightly, shifting your weight from one foot to the other to ease the strain. Your feet remain cold. The dampness from the spilled water has soaked through completely now. Your toes feel numb, then faintly sore as sensation returns in small waves. You do not lift your feet from the floor for long. Standing on one foot too long can make you unsteady, and unsteadiness leads to accidents. The fire crackles softly behind you. You do not turn right away. You know the sound well enough to understand what it means. The flame has taken hold properly now. Heat will follow soon. You finish with the dough before you allow yourself to focus on anything else. The work must be done in the right order. When you finally step away from the table, you pause. Your hands hover in the air for a moment, fingers slightly curled, muscles slow to release the shape they have been holding. You flex them gently, opening and closing them once, twice, feeling the stiffness respond reluctantly. There is a faint tremor in them now, barely noticeable, but you feel it. You rinse your hands in the bucket. The water is painfully cold. You lower your fingers slowly, letting the shock pass, then wash away the sticky residue of dough. The cold tightens your skin, stinging the small cracks along your knuckles. You breathe through it, jaw set, eyes unfocused. Too much pain distracts you. Distraction is dangerous. You dry your hands on a rough cloth and turn back to the oven. The fire glows steadily now, orange and red, sending heat outward in slow pulses. You crouch slightly as you check it, mindful of the heat against your face. Your eyebrows singe easily if you lean too close. You have learned this the hard way. You add another piece of wood. The motion is careful, controlled. You watch how the flame reacts, how it shifts and curls around the new fuel. The sound deepens slightly, becoming fuller. Satisfied, you step back. The dough waits. You divide it into portions, working slowly, cutting and shaping each piece with care. Your hands move almost without instruction now. Each loaf takes shape beneath your palms, rounded and smooth. You place them on the board, spacing them evenly, allowing room for what will come next. You wait. This waiting is part of the work. You stand nearby, watching the loaves rise almost imperceptibly. The air is warmer now. The cold still clings to your feet, but your chest and arms are beginning to relax into the heat. Sweat forms lightly at your temples, then cools as you step back from the oven. Your stomach tightens. Hunger announces itself quietly at first, a hollow sensation just beneath your ribs. You acknowledge it without reaction. You have learned not to answer hunger too quickly. There will be food later, if the day goes well. You check the oven again. The heat inside is right now. You know this by a feel alone. You slide the loaves in carefully, one by one, keeping your movement slow and controlled. A rush here could mean burned hands, and burned hands could end your work entirely. As the loaves bake, the room fills with warmth. The smell begins faintly, then grows richer, heavier. It settles into your clothes, your hair, the walls themselves. It is a comforting smell, but you do not allow yourself to linger on it. Comfort can dull attention. You move through the bakery, cleaning as you wait. You sweep ash from the floor, gathering it into a small pile. Each stroke of the broom is unhurried. Your back bends and straightens slowly, reminding you of its stiffness. When you stand upright again, you pause, letting the brief dizziness pass. You breathe steadily. Outside, the sky has lightened slightly. It is not yet morning, but the deep darkness has begun to thin. The sounds of the town shift almost imperceptibly. A door opens somewhere. Footsteps pass, distant and muffled. Life is beginning to stir. You remain inside. The oven requires your attention now. You lean in carefully, checking the loaves, watching how the crust forms, how the color deepens. The heat is intense near the opening. Sweat beads on your forehead and runs slowly down the side of your face. You wipe it away with your sleeve. Your arms feel heavy now. Each movement requires more effort than the last. The ache in your hands has spread into your elbows. Your shoulders feel tight, drawn upward without you noticing. You consciously let them drop, exhaling slowly as you do. The loaves are nearly ready. You stand quietly as you wait, eyes half focused, body still. This stillness is rare during the day. You allow yourself to rest in it briefly, knowing it will not last long. Soon, the work will continue. You stand close to the oven now, watching the loaves as they finish baking. The heat presses against your face and chest, steady and unyielding. You are careful not to lean too close. You have learned where the edge of safety lies, how far you can go before the heat becomes dangerous rather than useful. Your breathing is slow. You time it with your movements, inhaling when you step back, exhaling as you lean forward again. The smell of baking bread grows richer, fuller, filling the room and settling into every corner. It clings to the walls, to your clothes, to your hair. It is a smell that will follow you long after the day ends. When the loaves are ready, you remove them one by one. Your arms move steadily despite the heat, Despite the heaviness that has settled into your shoulders, you set each loaf down carefully, spacing them so they can cool properly. Steam rises gently from their surfaces, drifting upward and disappearing into the warmer air near the ceiling. You pause once the last loaf is placed. Your hands hang loosely at your sides, fingers slightly curled, reluctant to move again. The ache in them has deepened, spreading into your wrists and forearms. You rotate your shoulders slowly, feeling the tightness respond, easing just a little with the movement. The bakery is warm now. The cold that clung to you earlier has retreated, lingering only in your feet and lower legs. Even there, it has softened into a dull chill rather than a sharp bite. Sweat dampens the back of your neck. You wipe it away with the back of your hand and then immediately return your attention to the work. There is always more to do. You prepare the space for customers, arranging the loaves where they can be seen, where they can be reached easily. Each movement is deliberate. You are mindful of the floor, still dusted with ash and flour. A careless step could send you sliding, and a fall near the oven could be disastrous. You move slowly. Outside, the light continues to grow. It is still early, but the sky has shifted from deep grey to a softer shade. The sounds of the town become clearer now. Voices carry faintly through the doorway. A cart passes somewhere nearby, wheels creaking over stone. The day is beginning, whether you are ready or not. The first customer arrives quietly. You hear the footsteps before you see them. You straighten slightly, rolling your shoulders back to ease the stiffness, and turn to face the door. Words are exchanged, few and simple. A loaf is taken. A coin is placed in your hand. You nod in acknowledgement, fingers closing around the metal briefly before setting it aside. This rhythm continues. People come and go, one at a time or in small groups. Some speak more than others. Some say nothing at all. You respond as needed, but your focus remains on the work, on keeping the bread moving, on feeding the fire, on maintaining order in the space around you. Your body remains in motion. You lift, you place, you turn. Each action flows into the next without pause. The ache in your hands becomes constant now, no longer flaring with movement, but resting beneath everything you do. You adjust your grip often, shifting pressure from one finger to another to manage it. Hunger grows stronger. It settles deeper into your stomach, no longer just an emptiness, but a slow pulling sensation that makes you feel slightly hollow. You swallow and continue working. You know better than to eat too early. There may be little left later if the day is busy. As the morning wears on, fatigue begins to creep in. It does not arrive all at once. It comes in layers. First a heaviness in your limbs, then a slight slowing of thought. You find yourself standing still for a moment longer than necessary, staring at nothing in particular, before catching yourself and moving again. You are careful now. Fatigue makes mistakes more likely. You slow your movements even further, prioritizing control over speed. Each loaf is handled with attention. Each step is placed deliberately. You breathe steadily, keeping your awareness anchored in your body. The heat from the oven remains constant. It radiates outward, warming your front, then fading as you move away. This constant shift between heat and cooler air leaves your skin damp, then chilled, then warm again. You are aware of how easily illness can take hold in moments like this. You adjust your clothing when you can, pulling fabric closer, then loosening it again as needed. Time stretches. There is no clear marker for the passing hours. You do not count them. You feel them instead, in the growing stiffness of your back, in the way your feet ache when you stand still too long. You shift your weight from one foot to the other, rolling your ankles gently when you can. More customers arrive. The pile of loaves grows smaller. Coins accumulate slowly. You do not count them yet. That can wait until later, when the work is finished. For now, your attention remains on the present moment. At last, there is a lull. The doorway remains empty for a time. The noise outside continues, but no one enters. You allow yourself to slow even further. Movements almost meditative now. You wipe the table clean, gathering crumbs with your hand and brushing them aside. You drink a small amount of water. The cold shocks your throat, but it is welcome. You savor it briefly, then set the cup down. Too much at once can make you sluggish. You know this from experience. You glance toward the loaves. Only a few remain now. Enough perhaps for later. Perhaps not. You do not speculate. Speculation does not change the outcome. The day continues, and so do you. You remain inside the bakery as the lull stretches on, standing near the table with your hands resting lightly on the worn wood. The surface is warm now, holding the heat from the oven and the work that has passed over it all morning. You press your palms flat against it for a moment, feeling the warmth seep slowly into your skin. Your hands are tired. The ache in them is deep and constant now, no longer sharp enough to demand attention, but heavy enough to shape every movement you make. You roll your wrists slowly, one at a time, listening to the faint sounds they make as they move. The stiffness eases slightly, though it never truly leaves. The air inside the bakery feels thick. Heat and smoke linger together, wrapping around you. Each breath carries the scent of bread, ash, and old wood. You breathe carefully, aware of how easily your chest can tighten if the smoke grows too strong. You open the door just enough to let a thin stream of cooler air slip inside, then close it again. Outside, the day has fully arrived. Light filters in through the doorway when it opens, pale and muted. You catch brief glimpses of movement beyond the threshold. People passing, carts rolling by, the slow, steady flow of the town as it goes about its business. You remain rooted where you are, focused inward. Another customer arrives. The exchange is simple. You reach for one of the remaining loaves, feeling its weight as you lift it. The crust is firm beneath your fingers, still warm. You hand it over and accept the coin in return. The metal is cool against your skin. You tuck it away without looking at it. When the door closes again, the quiet returns. You use the moment to tend to the oven. The fire has settled into a steady glow, but it will not last forever without attention. You crouch slightly and add another piece of wood, watching as the flame responds. The heat flares briefly, then calms. You straighten slowly. Your back protests as you do, a tight pull along your spine that makes you pause halfway up. You breathe through it, waiting until the sensation dulls enough to move again. You have learned patience with your own body. Forcing it only makes the pain linger longer. You move back to the table. There is little left to prepare now, but you wipe it clean anyway, passing the cloth over the surface again and again. The repetition is soothing. It gives your hands something simple to do, something that does not require precision or strength. Hunger presses more firmly now. Your stomach tightens, and you feel a faint weakness beneath your ribs. You acknowledge it without reacting. You have learned how to work alongside hunger, how to let it exist without allowing it to take control of your thoughts. You shift your weight. Standing in one place too long makes your legs ache. You step away from the table and walk the length of the room slowly, then back again. The movement eases some of the stiffness in your knees and hips. You keep your steps measured, mindful of the uneven floor. Another stretch of quiet follows. During these moments, your thoughts begin to wander, despite your efforts to keep them still. You let them drift without direction, focusing instead on the physical sensations anchoring you in the present. The warmth on your face, the dull ache in your hands, the steady rise and fall of your chest. The door opens again. This time, two people enter together. Their voices fill the space briefly, overlapping, then settling. You respond when spoken to, nodding, handing over bread, receiving coins. The interaction is brief, efficient. When they leave, the bakery feels smaller again, the quiet deeper. You glance at what remains. Only one loaf is left now. You leave it where it is, untouched. It will be dealt with later. For now, there is still work to be done. You clean the floor again. Ash gathers beneath the broom, forming a soft grey line that you push steadily toward the corner. The motion is slow, repetitive. Your shoulders move gently with each stroke. The sound of the broom against the floor is muted, almost rhythmic. Your breathing slows to match it. Sweep, step, sweep, step. The afternoon light begins to shift. It grows softer, less direct. Shadows stretch and blur along the walls. You feel the change rather than see it. A subtle easing in the quality of the light that signals the slow approach of evening. Fatigue settles deeper. Your movements feel heavier now, as though each one requires more effort than the last. You do not fight it. You adjust, slowing further, allowing yourself to work within the limits of what your body can offer. You pause near the oven. The heat there is steady and comforting. You stand close enough to feel it against your chest, but not so close that it overwhelms you. You let yourself rest there for a moment, eyes unfocused, mind quiet. The stillness does not last. There is always another small task waiting, another surface to wipe, another piece of wood to adjust. You move away from the oven and return to the work, body moving out of habit more than intention. The day continues to stretch on, and you remain within it, steady, unhurried, enduring. The bakery grows quieter as the afternoon deepens. Fewer footsteps pass the doorway now, and the voices outside drift by without stopping. You notice the change not by sight, but by the way the space around you seems to settle, as if the room itself is growing heavier. You move more slowly. There is no reason to rush anymore. The busiest part of the day has passed, and what remains must be done with care rather than speed. You return to the table and begin wiping it again, even though it is already clean. The cloth moves across the surface in steady circles, following the grain of the wood. Your hands feel thick and clumsy. The skin across your palms is tight, cracked in places, roughened by years of work. Each movement pulls faintly at the small splits along your knuckles. You adjust your grip on the cloth, finding a way to hold it that causes less strain. You pause to stretch your fingers. One by one, you extend them, then curl them back in. The motion is slow, deliberate. The stiffness resists you at first, then gradually yields. You do this again, breathing evenly, keeping your shoulders relaxed. The oven continues to radiate heat. It is no longer the sharp, intense warmth of earlier, but a deeper, steadier heat that fills the space. You stand near it for a while, letting the warmth sink into your bones. Your back loosens slightly. The ache in your hands softens just enough to be bearable. You listen to the sounds of the room, the low crackle of the fire, the faint creak of wood as the building shifts. the distant murmur of life beyond the walls. These sounds blend together, forming a quiet, constant backdrop that requires no attention. Your stomach tightens again. The hunger is persistent now, no longer content to remain in the background. It draws your awareness inward, reminding you of how long it has been since you last ate. You acknowledge it with a slow breath and continue working. There will be time later. You check the remaining loaf. It has cooled now. You press lightly against the crust, feeling its firmness beneath your fingers. The smell is still present, though softer than before. You set it aside, careful not to disturb it more than necessary. The floor needs attention again. You pick up the broom and move across the room, sweeping slowly. Each stroke is measured, the bristles whispering against the floor. Your shoulders rise and fall gently with the motion. You focus on keeping your movement smooth, avoiding sudden shifts that could jar your tired muscles. As you work, fatigue settles deeper into your legs. Your calves ache faintly, a dull soreness that grows when you stand too long in one place. You adjust by shifting your weight often, stepping back and forth in small movements that keep the blood flowing. The light outside continues to soften. Through the doorway, you catch brief glimpses of the sky changing, the pale tones of earlier giving way to deeper shades. Shadows stretch longer now, creeping slowly across the ground. Evening is approaching, though there is still work to be done. Another customer arrives unexpectedly. You straighten, pushing the weariness aside for a moment. The exchange is brief. A loaf is taken, a coin is given. You nod, your voice low and calm as you respond. When the door closes again, the bakery returns to its quiet state. Only then do you notice how tired you truly are. Your shoulders feel heavy, as if weighed down. Your head dips slightly forward when you stop moving, and you correct it with conscious effort. You breathe in deeply, then out, grounding yourself in the present moment. You tidy the remaining space. Utensils are set in their places. Surfaces are wiped one final time. Each task is small on its own, but together they demand patience and attention. You work through them methodically, refusing to rush even as your body longs for rest. The fire needs tending once more. You crouch carefully, mindful of your knees as they bend. The joints protest quietly, but you ignore the sensation and focus on the task. You adjust the wood, making sure the fire will burn safely as the evening settles in. When you stand again, you do so slowly. The room is calm now. The heat is even. The air is still. The smells have softened, blending into a familiar, comforting presence. You take a moment to stand in the center of the bakery, hands resting loosely at your sides, eyes unfocused. The day has not ended yet, but it is drawing closer. The light outside has shifted noticeably now. It no longer falls straight through the doorway, but slants inward at a lower angle, touching the floor before fading. You notice the change without thinking about it. The way your body has learned to register the passage of time through light alone. You move toward the door and open it wider. Cooler air slips inside, brushing against your face and arms. It carries the smells of the town in the late afternoon. Damp stone, distant smoke, something faintly earthy. You stand there for a moment, letting the change in temperature settle against your skin. The contrast between the warmth inside and the cool outside makes you shiver lightly. You close the door again. The bakery feels quieter than before. The sounds outside have softened, as if the town itself is slowing down. You return to the table and sit for the first time all day, lowering yourself carefully onto a low stool. Your legs feel unsteady at first, then gradually relax as the weight lifts from them. Sitting feels strange. Your body is so used to standing to moving that stillness takes effort. You rest your hands on your thighs and breathe slowly, allowing the tension in your knees and ankles to ease. The ache does not disappear, but it dulls enough to be tolerable. You remain there for a while. The warmth from the oven reaches you even here, a gentle presence rather than an overwhelming force. You tilt your head slightly, stretching your neck, feeling the tightness respond reluctantly. You roll your shoulders forward, then back, easing them one at a time. Hunger presses again. It feels different now, heavier, more insistent. Your stomach tightens and releases slowly, reminding you of what it needs. You acknowledge it with a quiet breath. Soon, you tell yourself. Soon, you stand again. The effort it takes surprises you. Your legs feel stiff, as if they have forgotten how to move. You straighten gradually, waiting until the faint dizziness passes. When it does, you take a few careful steps across the room, letting your body remember itself. You move to the remaining loaf. It sits where you left it, untouched. You break off a small piece, careful not to take more than you should. The bread is dense and simple. You chew slowly, each bite deliberate. The taste spreads gradually, grounding you. You do not rush this moment. Eating too quickly makes you feel heavy and dull. You take your time, letting the bread settle in your stomach. The hunger eases slightly, enough to take the edge off. You wipe your hands on the cloth and set the loaf back where it was. The fire needs attention again. You approach the oven, crouching carefully. The heat is gentler now, but still present. You adjust the wood, making sure it is stable, that nothing will shift unexpectedly. Your movements are slower than before, guided by fatigue rather than urgency. You stand and step back. The room feels calm. There is a sense of completion in the air, though the day is not yet fully done. You begin the final cleaning, gathering what little ash has fallen, wiping surfaces one last time. Each motion is unhurried, as if time has stretched to accommodate your tired body. Outside, the sky deepens further. The light fades toward evening, shadows growing longer and softer. The sounds of the town change again. Voices become fewer. Footsteps slow. Somewhere in the distance, a door closes. You feel the pull of rest. Your body leans subtly toward it, eager for the day to end. You do not fight this feeling. You allow it to exist alongside the work, guiding your pace. When everything is finally in its place, you pause. You stand near the center of the bakery, hands resting loosely at your sides. You breathe in the familiar air, letting it fill your chest, then release it slowly. The warmth, the quiet, the faint smell of bread and smoke, all of it settles around you. The evening has arrived. The bakery feels different now that evening has settled in. The heat from the oven is lower, steadier, no longer demanding your attention with sharp bursts of warmth. It arrests in the room like something alive but calm, breathing slowly alongside you. You move through the space one last time. Your steps are careful, quiet. The floor is cleaner now, the ash gathered, the surfaces wiped smooth. You check each familiar corner out of habit, not because you expect to find anything wrong, but because this is how the day ends, by making sure nothing has been forgotten. Your body feels heavy. The fatigue that has been building since morning has settled fully now, sinking into your muscles and bones. Your arms feel slow when you lift them. Your hands are reluctant to close and open. Even turning your head takes more effort than it did earlier. You accept this. There is no point in resisting tiredness. It has earned its place. You move in a way that accommodates it, letting it shape your pace rather than fighting against it. You tend to the fire one final time. You crouch carefully, knees bending with quiet protest. The warmth brushes your face as you adjust the wood, ensuring the embers are stable and safe. You watch the glow for a moment, hypnotized by the slow movement of light and shadow. Standing again takes time. You rise gradually, pausing halfway, breathing steadily until the brief dizziness fades. When you are fully upright, you remain still for a moment, allowing your body to settle. The quiet deepens. Outside, the town has slowed to a murmur. Voices are distant now, softened by walls and time. The air that slips through small gaps in the building is cooler, carrying the promise of night. You close the door for the last time. The sound is gentle, final. The bakery is sealed against the dark, holding its warmth inside. You stand with your hand resting against the wood for a moment, feeling its solid presence beneath your palm. Hunger stirs again, but faintly. The small piece of bread you ate earlier has taken the edge off. Your body no longer demands attention. It simply exists, tired but steady. You gather what you need. The motions are slow and economical. There is nothing extra, nothing unnecessary. You take only what will carry you through the night. Your hands know the weight of these things. They fit easily into your grasp. Before leaving, you pause once more. You look around the bakery without focusing on any one thing. The table, the oven, the floor, each holds traces of the day's work. You take in the space as a whole, committing its quiet order to memory. Outside, the evening air greets you. It is cooler now, brushing against your face and neck. The sky has deepened into darker shades, the last light fading slowly. Smoke rises gently from nearby homes, drifting upward and dissolving into the night. You walk carefully. Your steps are slower than they were in the morning, measured by fatigue rather than cold. The ground is uneven beneath your feet, and you place each step with attention, aware of how easily a fall could undo the day. The town feels subdued. Windows glow faintly. Doors close softly. Life retreats inward as night takes hold. You move through it quietly, part of the rhythm rather than an interruption. Your body longs for rest now. Each step feels heavier than the last. Your shoulders sag slightly. Your breathing deepens, slowing as your pace slows with it. You let your thoughts drift without direction, anchored only by the sensations of movement and air. When you reach your door, you pause. You stand there for a moment, hand resting against the wood, feeling the familiar grain beneath your fingers. The day is nearly complete. You step inside. Inside, the air is still and cool. The door closes behind you with a soft, familiar sound, shutting out what remains of the day. The space is dim, lit only by what little light still lingers from outside. You stand quietly for a moment, letting your eyes adjust, letting your breathing slow. Your body feels heavy now. The tiredness has moved beyond your muscles and into something deeper, settling behind your eyes, along your spine, into your chest. You set down what you carry with careful movements, placing each thing where it belongs. Everything has its place. You take comfort in that. You remove your outer clothes slowly. The fabric pulls away from your skin with a faint resistance, as if reluctant to let go of the warmth you built throughout the day. When you loosen them, cooler air brushes against you, sending a brief shiver across your shoulders. You do not mind it. The cold feels quieter now, less demanding. You wash your hands. The water is cold, but you move through it patiently, rinsing away flour, ash, and the remnants of the day's work. It stings the small cracks along your knuckles, but the pain is distant, dulled by fatigue. You dry your hands carefully, pressing the cloth against them rather than rubbing. You move toward where you sleep. The straw waits, flattened by use, shaped by your body over time. You lower yourself down slowly, careful with your knees, easing your weight into it bit by bit. The surface shifts beneath you, rustling softly, then settles. You exhale. The sound is long and quiet, as if something inside you is finally being released. Your muscles loosen one by one. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw unclenches. The tension you carried without noticing begins to slip away. You pull the blanket over yourself. It is thin, but it holds warmth well enough. You adjust it carefully, tucking it around your shoulders, your legs. The familiar weight presses gently against you, grounding you. The day replays itself faintly in your mind. Not as clear images, but as sensations. The weight of water in the bucket, the warmth of the oven, the ache in your hands. These thoughts drift through without demanding attention. You let them pass. Your breathing slows, in and out. Each breath feels deeper than the last. The room remains quiet, holding still around you. Outside, the night has fully taken hold, but it does not reach you here. Your eyelids grow heavy. You allow them to close. There is nothing more to do. Tomorrow will come when it comes. The work will be there waiting, just as it always is. For now, your body is allowed to rest. You sink further into the straw. Your breathing evens out, steady and calm. The warmth beneath the blanket lingers. The world narrows to the gentle rise and fall of your chest. You sleep,